got shit everywhere. That's not good. Would you believe it? I cut too much off. Thickness? Hard to believe that I've done that, isn't it? But anyway. Well, this is Mike and Alison's boat. We're looking at putting a new platform on the back of this, extending the one that's here. It'll be come out around about 500 mil in the middle to give them double the area they require. Originally we were thinking of doing it in fiberglass. That was going to be a lot of work. We then considered doing it in pine, which also was a lot of work because it'd have to be glassed and painted, and matching the paint at the end of it would be very difficult. So after talking with Steve P, who does a lot of woodwork, we came up with the idea of doing it in teak. Once we'd finished the teak and put it on the boat, there'd be no more work to be done. So in the end it'll look similar to the teak that's on there, which is quite old. Just fitting it around here, it's going to be difficult to curve. Here's some work we did before we moved the gas bottle from the hole. You can see there we made a new locker over here so that it would all conform. And anyway, you'll see the little black marks there. That's to do when I start marking out to get the curve. We're going to have to make a pattern to fit on there. So this is how it all started. So what you're about to see is me machining up all this platform, but being the novice I am with all this, and I suppose this is the first real cock up of it, I forgot to film was machining all the rough sawn timber. So Mike came around, he brought the timber in. We had 6 planks which were 2.2 meters long by 265 millimeters wide and 60 mil thick, which was way bigger than what we needed but not as long as we needed, blah blah. So Mike and I, we cut the timber up into the raw material, and the video, well, what we're about to see now is after we'd cut all that, and where some of it off thickness, some of it I haven't. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and there won't be too many cock-ups, I don't think, hopefully. Well, what we've got to do is, the timber is a little bit too wide. We've got to come down to 40 mil. We're going to be 40 millimeters by 25, and we're about 60 mil, so I need to take at least 15 millimeters off the side. That leaves us about 44 millimeters, so the thicknesser we can take that last bit off and end up with a nice finish. We've put these bits through the thicknesser. These are going to be our cross rails, so they're not quite finished. We've done most of the machining. Now we've got these bits here, which originally I was going to make 25 millimeters, but I have to bend them to laminate them, so I've put it marked through the middle of the here, and I'm going to go and just bandsaw them in half again, and then we'll go back through the thicknesser with them, and they should be just about ready to go then. Okay, now what we're going to be doing, I've just split the timber. I'll just put it through the thicknesser and get it so it's nice and evenly thicknessed. So then it'll make it easier for when we're gluing and laminating. Place to plug it in. Pays to plug it in. I don't know what I said then. Place to plug it in. Measurement of? So I measure there. Yeah. Right, I measure right to the outside of that mark. Yeah. To the edge of here.
Oh, okay. I'm with it. Yeah.
Right, so that
just
one
transposing
there,
that. Yeah.
That's 115. So 115 times 2, Michael. 230. Used to be. centres in between those two.
Right.
Okay, so now we've got all our marks on the board. We'll take it back and we'll scribe it in, and then we can cut it. And the people who are helping, look how good they are, right? Say something. You can say something.
What's something?
Good boys. Right, here we are. We've got the piece of board that we marked out yesterday. What I'm going to do now is we're going to scribe the arc. So we'll have the shape of the stern of the boat. I've made all my marks there, and I'm just going to use a bendy rule, and what we'll do is we'll get the marks lined up and we can draw a reasonable curve. Should be the shape of the boat. We've just been sorting out some of the thinner bits of the timber that we need, which we're gonna shape around the back of the boat. Now, I marked out the pattern the other day, and the pattern now, this is the shape. You can see it it's a bit awkward to see, but you can see the shape of the boat. It's not quite right. Now, I've just got it sitting out here, and if we have a look, I have to take a little bit more off here to get the shape of the boat, and at this other end, would you believe it? I cut too much off. Hard to believe I've done that, isn't it? But anyway, so just this bit here, I've got to glue a piece of wood back on, and we've got to come out about, it's a pencil width anyway, so about that distance we've got to come out there from that mark there. So we've got to shape it back down into there, and we've virtually got the back of the boat. What we're going to do with that is I've got some of the bigger timber that was too big for me to deal with, pieces like this one here. They're over 200 wide and 60 odd thick. I've taken them around to Steve's, and Steve's got access with I think they call it the men's shed, and they've got a big saw and a bandsaw, and they've also got a buzzer, which with the buzzer what we do is we take these edges here, we get one of those dead flat. These are too big to put through the thicknesser there. So the thicknesser we can only go to 150. So what I've just been doing is these thin pieces that are going to be moulded around that shape that we're going to glue around here. I've just put them through and taken the edges, so we've got nice clean edges. They're a little bit over 100 mil. Because they're so thin, and to put them through the thicknesser, I've just clamped them all together. Just looking here, we've got all our different pieces here. We're just about ready to go. When Steve brings back the other pieces, being they're all about this length here, I'm actually going to have to put a nice clean cut on the end here on both of those bigger pieces, you know, those sort of sizes. Going to have to glue it together. Once it's glued, then we can lay the pattern on the top of it, lay the pattern over the top, and then we'll attempt to cut it, and that should be the shape of the back of the boat. Once we've got that shape, I can then take these thin pieces and we can glue them onto it, nail them on, and bend them around that shape, and we should have the start of the back of the boat, all things being equal, and if I don't make any more cock-ups. So what I've done here is this is going to be the curve of the back of the boat, and the timber's not quite wide enough, so I'm adding a bit at the bottom, so when we cut the curve it'll allow us to have approximately 100 millimeters of timber at this end. All will be revealed once I've done it, so you see how we go. So what I've done is I've rebaited this extra bit, so it's 20mm deep by 30mm wide, and I'm now going to come and rebait this part of it so it'll fit together like we've got there. Made a few little muck-ups here, but you won't see it once I've glued it all up. So anyway, there's bound to be a cock-up in here somewhere. I'm renowned for it. So what I've got here, I've got a router bit. It's approximately 20mm deep, which is what we need to cut. I've set up my guard for 30mm, and I've just got to take it a little bit at a time. We'll give it a go. Okay, that'll fit in there quite nicely. Just got to glue that up now. We've got the template now cut the right length. The shape is virtually there. It's enough for us to go and do what we have to do. All I'm waiting on now is I've got to get a new blade for my drop saw, which is just over here. So I'm getting a carbide blade to fit on there, so that on all our bits of teak, I've got to square up the ends across here, and the new carbide blade, I'll be able to do that and then carry on with all the rebaiting and what have you. So a little bit held up with that at the moment, but there's plenty of other things we can do. Okay, we're just going to be gluing the joints on these bits here. I've just tested it out, see when we clamped it, whether everything's holding and how it looks on the other side. Got to make sure we get it straight as well. Pretty good at the moment, so test it all out first before I actually go and glue it. Not quite straight. We might be able to get it straight now. Not easy. Okay, we're going to use epoxy glue. So it's a mix of 4:1, and you'll see the little pumps there, and they'll mix out the right amount for me. I'm using a slow hardener. So yeah, in the middle of summer, if you've got a fast hardener, the stuff doesn't last very long at all. And I even find in winter that it's better to use a slow hardener. I also wear these as well, because no matter how clean and tidy I am, I get the shit everywhere. So with the epoxy, you've got to make sure you put glue powder in it. You can't just use the pure epoxy.
doesn't have any body to it, and it won't hold. So you've got to put enough powder in that it's just stiff enough that it'll stay there and it doesn't run and run out of your joint. So you can see it, and hopefully you can see that just starting to mix up. So blue powder's all mixed in, and we got reasonably sort of stiff mix. And now before you glue up teak, it has a natural oil in it, natural silicone. So we need to go and wipe the joints with thinners, clean it before we start. Otherwise the glue won't go off. Just use a couple of paper towels. And we literally almost skip the joints and thinners to get rid of that natural oil.